Welcome back to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. It's your favorite depressed Dairy Queen working here, back at it again to drop What If Deku, wrong series. What if Naruto had Kamui? Now, I'm mainly doing this just because of the fact that I love Kamui. The way that Obito was able to use these abilities to rise to the top of the Naruto food chain was absolutely insane to me. And I wanted to know what would happen if Naruto, pretty much Obito's opposite, was to inherit the same ability but use it for different purposes, for good, in Konoha, in the greatest village of all time, the Leaf Village. So, with all that out of the way, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys go on to enjoy this video, then slap a like on the video, considering today's like goal is going to be a fat 2,000 likes. And once you guys hit that, I'll make sure I drop the next part of this. That said, enjoy. Hajime, Iruka would say, as Naruto and Sasuke would immediately rush at each other. In this moment, they're both in the academy, and each one is trying to outdo the other. Sasuke, not so much, but Naruto, this battle means more than something to him. This battle means everything, because here, he finally gets to prove that Sasuke isn't this big and bad, strong person that everybody thinks he is. He's not that cool, Naruto would be thinking, and he would rush in and throw a punch, when suddenly, Naruto would literally feel himself fall into an endless void, as Naruto's clothes would immediately slip off, and Naruto would just literally feel himself sinking. In this moment, Sasuke would be wondering where Naruto went, seeing nothing but his clothes behind, as Naruto would feel himself literally struggling, grasping at oxygen, wanting to breathe, when suddenly he would shoot back up into the surface, as Naruto would be gasping for air, literally on his hands and knees coughing. But it would be at this moment that everybody in class would start laughing at Naruto, everybody pointing at him, as Kiba would say, "Look, it's the little beast of the leaf," as everybody would start laughing even harder, and Naruto would be sitting there wondering what's so funny, when suddenly he sees his clothes in front of him in a pile, as he would realize that he's naked. Immediately, Naruto would rush towards his clothes, cover his no-no square, and run off, as everybody in the class would be laughing at him, all except one, a specific girl who is beetroot red. She is literally so red right now in the face, and she just straight up passes out into unconsciousness. Everybody would turn to her and be like, "Hinata, are you okay?" As Naruto would run off home, and once he would make his way there, he would slam the door, as he would think to himself, "I'm never gonna live this down." Naruto would grab at his hair and begin yanking it, just being like, "Sasuke, what did you do? I'm gonna find out what jutsu you used, and I'm gonna make you pay." When suddenly, Naruto would literally phase into the building, like so look at it this way. Naruto's apartment system is two areas. So there's the top floor, and then there's the bottom floor. And Naruto's living in like a sort of like apartment complex sort of thing, right? So Naruto phases down, and just imagine that your upstairs neighbor literally falls down just butt booty naked. That's literally what happens. Naruto falls down, and immediately Naruto would be greeted to this lady and her husband, as he straight up gets kicked out of the house, literally, by the dude, as Naruto would be sent out of there, and Naruto would say, "Hey, it's not my fault, it's not my fault." Naruto in this moment would sit there and be so embarrassed. Now, not only did everybody in the academy see him, but even his downstairs neighbors did. Oh, Naruto would be thinking, as suddenly he would realize that he needs to ask Hiruzen for some help. He would go to Hiruzen's office and tell him about all this embarrassing stuff that's been happening to him lately, as Hiruzen would ask what he's talking about. There's no such jutsu that can make somebody phase through the ground. The only thing he can think of is the headhunter jutsu, but even then he wouldn't lose his clothes, he would just be sunken into the ground. Naruto would be like, "I'm telling you, Sasuke did something. He did, as he just finally runs out of energy, and he's like, "Dang it, old man, I need help. Everybody's making fun of me, and I need some sort of help. How do I stop this?" Hiruzen looks at him and thinks that he's just, like making some dumb story up to waste his time. So he looks at him and goes, "Naruto, can you please get out of my office? This is not that big of a deal, Naruto. If suddenly being naked is such a problem, then pack some clothes, Naruto. Come on." And Naruto would straight up just be taken out of the office by Hiruzen, as Naruto would scream out so loud, being like, "Dang it!" And suddenly, everybody around would watch him, as Naruto's like, "My bad." He would immediately rush towards Ichiraku's ramen shop, as he would think to himself, what could have happened? What could have happened? What did Sasuke do? And so For the following next 2 years, which means that Naruto would now be 11 years old, Naruto would just have this happen every now and then, where he'll be chilling and out of nowhere, he'll phase through stuff, phase through people. Sometimes he'll be carrying something large and it'll just go right through his body, fall to the ground. Let's say he's doing his laundry, boom, it literally just slipped through his fingers and it all hits the ground and it's dirty now and he has to rewash it. All these common annoyances would grow and grow and grow and grow more, to the point where everybody finally starts realizing that Naruto needs to stop running around naked everywhere. So here's what would happen. Naruto would pretty much be told by Hiruzen that he doesn't know exactly what's going on, but he needs Naruto to stop going around everywhere naked. So as far as he's concerned, he needs some help. I don't know what it is that you have, Naruto, but it seems to me like it's some sort of strange pervy KK Genkai. As Naruto would say, it's not a pervy KK Genkai, old man, with Hiruzen saying, sure. As he would then say, look, I have some good news for you and some bad news. The good news is that you're going to be training under Kakashi Hatake. The bad news is you're going to be training under Kakashi Hatake. As Naruto would be like, great, so when am I going to meet this guy? And then suddenly Kakashi would make his presence known behind Naruto, as he would tap him and have an Anbu mask on, with Naruto quickly turning around going, huh? Who are you? And Kakashi taking the mask off as he would smile at Naruto with his eye and be like, I'm Kakashi, I'll be training you from now on. Naruto looking towards Kakashi would be like, well, that's good, but how exactly are you gonna help me stop phasing through things? And Kakashi would say, there's a couple of ways to do it, but for now, we have to get started. As for the following next 2 years, which means Naruto would finally be 13 and thus would finally find ourselves in the beginning of the anime, Naruto would have barely learned at this point, mind you, barely, after 2 years of constant training, constant struggle, Naruto doing his absolute best at trying to stop this, would barely be able to literally just not phase through things at random. That's what he would have accomplished. Now Naruto is not able to just phase through things like crazy and lose his clothes. Naruto, after 2 years of training with Kakashi, mind you, not always, because Kakashi has missions, so Kakashi would drop by every now and then, give Naruto some pointers, teach him a couple of jutsus as well, and that's all that Naruto would have learned basically. So at this point, Naruto knows all of water walking, tree walking, how to not phase through the earth and basically die, and also just a couple basic wind jutsus, like 2 or 3. That's literally all Naruto learned over these past 2 years. So yeah, nothing too crazy, but you know, it'll help Naruto out a lot. It'll at least like keep him a little balanced to Sasuke, even though Sasuke could still wipe the floor with him. If he could land a hit, because one more thing that Naruto learns is how to straight up just phase through attacks. Naruto still hasn't learned how to hit with his phasing ability, but he knows how to just phase through attacks. That's all he knows. So say a huge attack is coming at him, Naruto can just phase through it entirely and come back out hoping that the attack isn't still going on. So say Naruto's facing off against Kakashi and Naruto sees this gigantic fireball shooting at him and he phases through it and he comes back out, but Kakashi shoots a water style jutsu at him. That will hit him because he can't react fast enough. That's how Naruto's abilities work at this moment. And now I'm pretty sure you have a question on your mind. Hey Xehther, is this permeation? This does not sound a lot like Kamui. He's not going to a dimension, he's just permeating through things. And to that I have to say, yeah, I'm sorry guys, I actually am, I'm sorry. I was trying to find a way to make this what if work, but honestly, there's no way to do it. Hear me out. There's one way of making Obito actually die and Naruto's just his reincarnation, and because he's his reincarnation, he's gonna be gaining access to the Sharingan, and because he's gaining access to the Sharingan, Naruto's gonna have to have this crazy traumatic situation happen, so that now Naruto's able to have access to the Sharingan and Kamui. But hear me out, that just didn't seem that cool to me. Honestly, that just feels like redoing what if Naruto was an Uchiha. And since I've already done that, I didn't exactly feel like doing that. Oh, my shameless plug. Go check out my What If Naruto Was an Uchiha video. That thing is fire. I have 2 versions, a long version and a short edited version. So get to that. But second of all, it just didn't work low-key, because adding another character like Kamui to the story would not only remove Obito, which means that the main thread of the story would low-key be gone, but if I just gave Naruto the Kamui because I made him an Uchiha, that's not exactly how the universe itself works. Like, 2 people can't have the same Mangekyo ability unless they're having the same eyes. So I was struggling greatly to make this thing happen, until I finally realized, wait, the reason that people are going to click on this video isn't because it's necessarily Obito's Kamui, but because of the ability, the busted hacks ability of just being able to phase through attacks. So I was like, let's give Naruto something similar where it still feels like Kamui, but it's not quite Kamui, right? Because all Obito can do is phase through things and like shoot himself out at a different location, right? That's the same thing that this ability is going to be doing, except we're going to be doing this without the extremely sad backstory where Naruto has to lose an arm, a leg, an eye, everything part of it, basically every single part of his body, every single friend he's ever known. Not only that, but his enemies are actually going to do that in front of him, and they're also going to kill his pet cockroach. None of that has to happen. Now, Naruto just gets to work extremely, and I can't preface this enough, extremely hard, just to get to the point where he's going to be able to be OP. So yeah, if you like this story so far, then keep watching. If not, I'm sorry for clickbaiting y'all, but I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Anyways, back into the story. I failed again, Naruto would say as he would stay there in the back of the class looking at the paper that just told him that, yeah, he failed. Naruto in this moment would be approached by Mizuki, who would look at him and say, hey Naruto, don't worry about it. If you failed, I have another way you can become a genin. He would say with a smile internally, right? As Naruto would look at him and say, really? There's another way? Well, he would think to himself in his head, Kakashi never told me about that. As from here, Mizuki would go on to explain the process of stealing the scroll of sealing, learning one jutsu inside of it, and giving it to him inside of the forest. As Naruto, once he hears that, would think to himself, oh, sounds easy enough. And so Naruto would begin preparing to do this. Making his way home, he would actually make a stop at Kakashi Sensei's place, where he would end up asking Kakashi if he has any tips and tricks on stealing the scroll of sealing. Kakashi, after hearing that, would be like, what are you talking about, Naruto? As Naruto would tell him, yeah, Mizuki Sensei told me that if I steal the scroll of sealing and I give it to him, he'll make me a genin. Isn't that true, Kakashi? Kakashi would look at him, facepalm, and be like, Naruto, you dummy. I'm so glad you told me before this all went out of control. He would tell Naruto not to worry about it, as Kakashi would then tell Naruto that he'll put in a good word and make sure he passes. As from here, this is actually going to be a lot cooler than what we get in the original, because instead of the usual thing where Naruto's always constantly the one stealing the scroll, beating Mizuki up, I'm going to be having it so where Kakashi, using the transformation jutsu, would actually take the scroll of sealing under the orders of Hiruzen because he would tell him what's going on. And so because of that, Kakashi would make his way towards the forest where eventually Mizuki would end up arriving. And Mizuki would end up telling Naruto, good Naruto, you stole the scroll, hand it over and I can make you a genin. So Naruto would grab this scroll, toss it towards the direction of Mizuki, as Mizuki would grab a giant shuriken right after he would catch it and toss it at the direction of Naruto, saying, you fool! Throwing this gigantic shuriken, Naruto would stand there still looking at it as he would catch it with one hand, and Mizuki would be like, what? As Kakashi would undo the transformation jutsu, revealing himself to be Kakashi Hatake, with Mizuki being like, wait, we can talk about this, but Kakashi was having none of it, and so he ended up taking Mizuki out, taking him back to Hiruzen where he would take the dead body, and eventually the very next day Team 7 would be announced, or the team, right? The team would be just the same as it is in the original, Sasuke, Naruto, and Sakura, and the introductions would go by just like they do in the original. Naruto's goal is still to become Hokage, since Naruto's dreams haven't exactly changed. Naruto only now had the added bonus of having an even more difficult life, considering the fact that for a couple of years, Naruto had to deal with a couple inconveniences, to put it lightly. And so after this would end up taking place, the team would then be told about taking the bell test the next day, and everybody would end up arriving to the training grounds right on time, except for Naruto. Because Naruto's more than well aware of the fact that Kakashi, he's never on time. So Naruto would end up showing up 2 hours later, right before Kakashi would arrive, with Sasuke and Sakura being upset at the fact that Naruto got more sleep than them, and Naruto having a huge smile on his face, saying that Kakashi should be arriving in about 30 minutes. As from here, the group would wait, and eventually Kakashi would end up making his presence known. From here, what would end up going down is Kakashi would explain the rules of the bell test, but because Naruto knows Kakashi and he understands how powerful he is, Naruto's not going to make the dumb mistake of rushing at him blindly, even with this new ability that he has. Keep in mind, Naruto still isn't able to use his Kamui ability throughout specific parts of his body. It's all or nothing. Nerf. Anyways, sponsor aside, imagine Nerf sponsoring me. No, anyways, what would pretty much go down is that Naruto would hide alongside Team 7, just like they do in the original, and right after this would happen, Naruto would be like, psst, "Psst," as he would call over to Sakura, who would say, "What do you want, Naruto? We're hiding, don't you see?" With Naruto saying, "I get it, but look, to beat him, we have to work together. I've tried fighting him before and there's no way that any of us are gonna land even a blow on him." With Sasuke saying, "That might be true for you, Naruto, but for me, I'll make sure I get a bell and pass. You two can just try your best not to get in my way." Sakura, after hearing that, would be pretty disappointed, as Naruto would turn to Sasuke and say, "Alright then, Sasuke, how about you try to take him out by yourself? Go ahead, go on, do it. It's not like he's doing anything right now, he's just reading that dumb Makeout Paradise series." As Sasuke would say, "Makeout Paradise?" And so he's like, "Whatever, fine Naruto, watch this." Sasuke would say that before he proceeds to get absolutely mollywopped. And then right after this, he would end up finding himself tied to the post, with Naruto asking him if it was worth it, before then suddenly hearing Kakashi behind him, who would end up telling him that no, it wasn't, before tying Naruto up to one of the posts as well, and Sakura would be the last one left behind. Eventually, Sakura would just straight up stay hidden until lunchtime came around, and Sakura was the only one that was able to eat. Because of this, she would obviously end up giving some food to Sasuke because, I mean, if he's not passing, she's not passing either. And Naruto, watching this happen, would just phase out of the poll as he would go on to grab one of the plates of food and tell them that to pass this test, they need to work together. There's no way they're going to be beating him on their own. As from here, they would take a couple of bites of food, make a plan, and end up hiding again, with Kakashi returning, not finding them there, as Kakashi would have a giant smile on his face, and from here, the team would end up ambushing him. Sakura throwing a couple shuriken at the direction of him, Sasuke coming in with a fireball jutsu, and Naruto coming in with a bunch of shadow clones at the direction of Kakashi, which some of them would actually permeate to the ground and then shoot back up as they're trying to land a blow at Kakashi, trying to be discreet about it, but it just didn't work, and Naruto just stood there all naked like usual. Eventually, Kakashi ends up dodging everything, dismantling their attack, and tying them back up to the posts, where Kakashi would look at them and say, You passed," before everybody would be like, "What?" And he explains, "Yeah, you passed. The purpose of this test wasn't to pin you guys up against each other. It was to see if you guys would be able to work together when everything was stacked against you. And you were able to. So as far as I'm concerned, you are the new Team 7. And Naruto would be super excited because of the fact that he knows that this is literally Kakashi's first team. Plus, Kakashi's gonna keep being his master. He's gonna keep training him. So Naruto was over the moon excited. And so after this, we would get 2 weeks worth of worthless missions, as eventually we would get assigned the Tazuna Bridge Builder mission. And eventually we would find ourselves in the perspective of Naruto, as everybody would be walking towards the land of the waves. Eventually, Team 7 would come across a little puddle in the road, as they would walk right past it, only to then be ambushed by the Demon Brothers, who, using a genjutsu, they would rush in, killing Kakashi. As from here, Sasuke would jump into action, but Naruto would do so as well, as he would rush in at one of the Demon Brothers, throwing a kick at him, setting him back a bit, as he would rush back in towards Naruto, but Naruto would phase through him, as Sasuke, coming in from behind Naruto, would end up landing a fireball jutsu on him, taking him out completely. As from here, Kakashi would reveal he was never really dead, and so the team would continue going forward with the mission, as eventually we would get Tazuna popping up, throwing his gigantic blade at the team, with Kakashi saying, "Everybody duck!" Eventually everybody would do so, and Zabuza would make his presence known, before the iconic Zabuza vs Kakashi battle would go down just like it does in the original. Because of that, this means that Kakashi would still be trapped in the water prison, and it would be up to Naruto and Sasuke to be the ones to free him. Eventually they would do so just like they do in the original, and we would get Kakashi vs Zabuza Part 2. This doesn't really matter because Naruto wasn't able to actually use his crazy abilities here, and so we're going to be skipping straight to the next battle that takes place on the bridge, because I don't exactly want to just recap Naruto, I want to tell a story. And so we would find ourselves on the bridge battle scene, as what would pretty much end up going down is that after Naruto would take out the two goons that were going after Inari and Tsunami, Naruto rushes inside of the crystal ice mirror, and Haku would begin throwing Senbon after Senbon after Senbon after Senbon. This time around, Sasuke doesn't actually have to save Naruto, which is a very good thing, because Naruto was able to, instead of being saved by Sasuke, Naruto would actually pretend to be hit by all of the Senbon needles, as he would fall down onto the ground and pretend to be dead, just like Obito did when Sasuke would have slashed him in the Deidara vs Sasuke fight. And so Haku would hyper focus on Sasuke in this battle, and she would even ask Sasuke why he's not focusing on the fact that he just lost his friend. Does he not care about him, he would think? As from here, Sasuke would say, "It's not that I don't care about Naruto, it's that he's okay," as Haku would be like, "What?" But turning around quickly, as he would have jumped in there to land like a finishing blow on Sasuke, Naruto would come flying in and land a punch square in the face of Haku, cracking the mask and sending him flying into one of the ice mirrors. As from here, Haku would be like, "Very clever trick, but you're gonna need more than that to help you." As from here, Haku would jump into one of the ice mirrors and throw multiple senbons at the direction of Naruto, not playing any games. Each one of them would eventually end up landing since Naruto wasn't able to just sit there phasing through that whole time. He had to come out for air, and the second he did so, Naruto got skewered like a kebab. Following this, Naruto would sit there and be completely taken out, or so it would feel like, as Haku would begin to take Sasuke out, but in the midst of doing that, a chakra would begin swelling up in the area, and Haku would realize that it was none other than Naruto, as Naruto would stand up slowly with the Nine Tails chakra creeping up behind him, and he would punch Naruto straight out of one of the mirrors, sending him crashing into the ground, with him letting a roar out and rushing back towards Haku, who in this moment would try to fight back by throwing a senbon at him, but Naruto rushes right through this senbon, literally not even aware that he's doing this, just like Obito was when he like let his rage take over and he like killed a bunch of those ninjas. He would just dismantle Haku in that moment, taking him out completely, because mind you, Haku wasn't about to spare Naruto. Naruto realized Haku was about to kill him, so Naruto's not about to do Haku any favors. Naruto takes Haku out completely, and so Zabuza would be taken out completely in tandem by Kakashi's Chidori, or the 1,000 Birds Jutsu, which I personally like to call it. Because of this, Zabuza won't actually be the one present to take out Gato and his men, and instead, an enraged Naruto would. It's not like he's gonna go through them and kill them or anything, but he is gonna land a lot of blows on them, much like what Obito would have done in the original, where he phases through attacks, phases through swords, and just lands blow after blow after blow after blow. Naruto is not fighting on his own accord. He's sort of on autopilot right now, and he literally phases through sword attacks just like Obito would have done when he first like activated his Kamui ability, and he just dismantles Gato and all of his men as he finally gets to Gato, and Naruto is just not even playing games with him. He straight up punches Gato into the water, and then all of his men would drop down into the ground unconscious, as the people of the village would end up grabbing Gato, doing whatever it is that they think he deserves, and then basically thanking Naruto for saving them from this situation, as the bridge would still be named the Great Naruto Bridge like it is in the original, and Naruto would fall into unconsciousness as Kakashi would catch him with one arm, and eventually Naruto would wake up in the village, or when they're basically outside of the village borders, right? Naruto would wake up just in time to brief Hiruzen on the mission, and Kakashi would even end up telling Naruto what he witnessed when Naruto tapped into the power of the Nine Tails, explaining to Naruto how insanely overpowered that attack was, and how he doesn't think he could have even been able to stop Naruto if Naruto would have gone crazy and turned on them. Naruto, after being told that, would say that wasn't him. He wasn't even aware he was doing that, with Kakashi saying he understands it, and that was more than clear by the way that he was using his phasing ability. And so Naruto and Kakashi for the next week would basically work on trying to imitate that any way, shape, or form, but ultimately they're not able to do that. What they're pretty much able to do is pretty much make it so that Naruto, instead of just phasing and not being able to attack back, now Naruto would be able to phase and jump back out with like so much speed and force that landing a blow after jumping out of the phasing dimension, Naruto would land a blow that is like 5 times stronger than the one that he would normally land. So say like if he was to fight Neji again and phase through the ground and pop back up, boom, that blow's gonna land like way harder than basically with the same amount of force and power that the one that we get in the original lands. So I guess now we know how Naruto's gonna beat Neji, but for now, we're now gonna be covering the Chunin exams. And so what would pretty much go down is just like you would expect. Naruto, Sakura, Sasuke, they walk through the Genin Tower, right? As they're there, and they would eventually run into Team Guy, as Lee still ends up challenging Sasuke like he does in the original. And this would lead to Sasuke losing his first fight, as eventually after this would take place, they would have the written exam, as Naruto, still being his usual self, would end up giving a massive speech to basically raise everybody's spirits so that more people pass, and eventually we would get the Forest of Death section. And the first order of business would be deciding who the team captain's gonna be for now, with Naruto saying that it should be him because he's the strongest, but Sasuke would scoff at that and say, what's power if you don't know how to use it? Plus, Naruto, we have to admit that I'm the more strategic one here. I think it's fair that I should be team captain. Naruto would retaliate to this, but Sakura, being her usual self, would be like, come on Naruto, just let Sasuke be the leader. He's the smartest one here after all. Plus, he's the one that's gonna save us from everything. With Naruto gritting his teeth and be like, that's not fair. As eventually they would make their way through the forest, and after stealing the scroll that they need successfully and making their way towards the direction of the tower, they would end up feeling a massive chakra coming their way. It'd be in this moment that Orochimaru would make his presence known, and he would stare down Sasuke, Naruto, and Sakura, as he would say, my, look what I found, a young Uchiha.